Hello everyone and welcome or welcome back to the Knit Witch podcast. My name is Katie and I am the Knit Witch. I have not spoken to you guys in a very long time, so I fear this may be a little bit of a longer episode. If you are a returning viewer, you may also notice that this is a slightly new location. It's same room, different angle. Because where I normally sit, there is now an air conditioner. So a little behind the scenes information for you there. We'll have to see if the acoustics are fine, and we will have to see if the lighting is okay. I know sometimes there's a little bit of a glare on my glasses, which drives me crazy, so I can only assume it drives you guys crazy. So we'll have to look at that in post. This is a knitting podcast, and I am so very delighted to inform you that we do in fact have finished objects today. You may have already seen one sneakily on the chair behind me. And I'm just gonna jump right into it because this has been an ongoing whip for far too long. So we're gonna talk about it, and it is my Cloudwatching sweater. I can't even hold it up. I'm so excited. So it is massive. This is Cloudwatching, which is a sweater pattern by Susanne Sommer. It's a lovely pattern. I highly recommend it. Some background information about the pattern is it's originally written for a lace weight like merino yarn held with a lace weight mohair yarn, but I cannot follow directions and I chose a DK weight yarn plus a mohair yarn. So I have about probably a worsted weight sweater when the pattern is written for like a fingering weight sweater. So as you can see, or maybe not because it doesn't even fit in the frame, but it is pretty dang large. This is a top-down raglan sweater, but I love it so much because it's a compound raglan, which means there's like, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's different intensities of increases happening. So it kind of makes like a little S shape on the raglan instead of just a regular diagonal line. It fits so well. I love it so much. This pink yarn was the very first yarn I ever dyed. Back in 2018, and I had originally knitted it into a flax light because the flax DK pattern had not come out yet, and I, in my youth, decided that DK weight was closer to fingering weight than it was to sport weight, so I knit the flax light, and that, I mean, that's arbitrary. That has nothing to do with the reasons why I never wore it. I never wore it because this yarn, in all of its unmohaired glory, was a vibrant hot pink, which actually I can show you on the cuffs. So these cuffs are folded down, but it's brioche, so it's reversible. So this is what that yarn originally looked like when I freshly dyed it. And you can see the pretty stark difference, in my opinion. So I never wore my hand-dyed flax sweater because it was egregiously pink. It was just too much for me, so I never wore it. And this past Christmas, I frogged it and decided to cast on this Cloudwatching sweater. So I held that hot pink hand-dyed yarn with a strand of silver mohair, which allowed it to be much more toned down. It is still, you know, vibrantly pink, but it's just a little more wearable, in my opinion. So, like I mentioned, the cuffs are not held with mohair, so that's like the original color of the yarn that I dyed. And then the hem, which I love, is also, you can see my little face, sorry. The hem is also not held with mohair, so it's the naked yarn. This hem is like sewn down, folded over and sewn down. So this is the inside, and that's the right side. If I could ever figure out how cameras work so I could show it to you. That's the right side. This is the inside. I personally think I did an awesome job sewing it. I think it looks good. If you disagree, zip your lip. I think it looks awesome, okay? I love this. I love the neckline. It has a little garter stitch collar with an I-cord bind off. I think that is like the perfect collar for this sweater. Let me hold it closer so you guys can see too. There's some short rows in the back neck. It looks so good. This front panel and the back panel is in a pearl brioche stitch, and then the raglans are in brioche, and then the sleeves are in garter stitch. It's so comfy, cozy, squishy. I love it. It is insanely hot to wear because it's, like I said, practically a worsted weight sweater held with a mohair. Mohair is hot. Worsted weight sweaters are hot. It is now almost May. I live in Rhode Island, so the weather's been fluctuating. It's been like 70 degrees one day. It got below freezing last night. I'm not going to be able to wear this until winter, which is fine. But I just love it. I just love knitting it. I love having it. It grew so much. Like, I cannot even begin to describe to you how much it grew. I knit this in a non-superwash Peruvian Highland wool with a strand of silk mohair. Those two things in my head, I'm like, okay, it's non-superwash and it's silk mohair. Neither of those things grow very much after blocking. I don't think silk grows at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but silk is like it doesn't stretch. So why would it grow after blocking? Non-superwash fibers are not known for their growing. Like, they relax, but they don't like grow like a superwash yarn would. So I fully expected this to, like, I was gonna knit it to my dimensions and then, you know, block it and it would just kind of like drape a little better. The stitches would like open up. This thing exploded in size. I knit the arms like to my arm length. So from underarm to the tip of the cuff was 19 inches before blocking. And as it was, you know, in the soapy water, getting all of the growdiness off of it from my gremlin hands, I was like, wow, these arms look really long. It must just be, you know, stretched out because it's wet. It's fine. And I, you know, rolled it up in a towel, squeezed all the water out, laid it flat to dry so it could, you know, just do what wool fibers do and bloom and become beautiful and fluffy. The arms, like I mentioned, were 19 inches before blocking, and after blocking, they grew to 24 inches. Am I just dumb? Please let me know if you would have expected 5 inches of growth in the arms, because I did not, and so I have the cuffs rolled up because I'm not taking it back, there's no way. And I don't care if they're bunchy on my arms, it's fine. But oh my god, 5 inches? That's like a whole nother sleeve. And yeah, it did grow in the body. But I love Positive Ease. I was originally knitting this with, I think, 6 or 8 inches of Positive Ease. And it has probably 10 to 12. So I love that. And I love Positive Ease. And it's like so comfy cozy. It's just like a giant sweatshirt when it goes on. But like I said, it is very hot. So I can only wear it for about 5 minutes before I start sweating. So finally, finally, love this. And I love being done with it even more. Side note though, it fits my boyfriend perfectly. He tried it on because, of course he did, because he's a doll and I love him. So he tried it on. The arms fit him perfectly because he just has long arms, and it like fits his body perfectly. It has like 4 inches of Positive Ease and it's lovely on him. So I'm like, anytime you want to wear it, go for it, please. Please wear it because it fits him so much better than it fits me. Just like how it looks on him is kind of how I was envisioning it to look on me, you know, with like the sleeves being perfectly sleeve length and the body being perfectly body sized. It's kind of what I was picturing for myself. But alas, I have a giant pink mohair sweater. Okay, I have to check my notes. The second finished object I have to show you, I may just insert a picture of. If you watched my Q1 roundup video, you will have seen these. They are the green socks that I knit for my dad, and he's wearing them today because, like I said, it got below freezing last night. So this morning when he got up for work, it was quite cold, and he wore the knitted socks even though it's the final week of April. So he's wearing those. I don't have them to show you. I can put in a picture, but if you watched my Q1 roundup, you will have seen them in the flesh, so to speak. Oh, very exciting, very, very exciting finished object is a finished yarn. So this has been a mainstay of the Knit Witch podcast. I believe I started this spin in January. I think last episode I might have finished it, like I might have finished both singles last episode, but it's plied and it's gorgeous. Come on camera, you got this. Like, it's a 2-ply. This is Paradise Fibers 100% Merino in the colorway Mystic Forest. It's just a bunch of these like most beautiful blues and purples. Like I said, it's a 2-ply. So happy. I got 204 yards and it looks to me to be a sport weight. So 204 yards and 100 grams, approximately a sport weight. I love it. This will become a shawl or part of a shawl eventually. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy this is done. So happy it's done. Plying it took so much longer than I thought it would. I finished, I think, do I really want to get into this? Probably not. We're just gonna say I finished approximately 8 hours of book content on YouTube. Yeah. Now I feel bad for leaving you out. If you don't care, I'm so sorry. I refuse to read the A Court of series because it's mainstream and I hate things that are mainstream, just as like a point of personality. And 2, I hate reading like sexy things. It makes me like gag and throw up. I hate it so much. So I just won't read them because I know that there's depictions. So I instead watched, her channel is, I don't know how to say her name, that's embarrassing, Cari, so it's either Carrie or Kari, I'm gonna say Kari. Kari Can Read. She has, what would that be, like summary videos of like walking you through all of the plot points of the series, which is perfect because I want to know what it's about, but I don't want to have to sit through it. So I watched all of it in the time it took me to ply that yarn. I do watch my YouTube videos on either 1.25 or 1.5 speed just because I need fast things in my ears. So it didn't take me the full extent of time that she had filmed, but it did take me a solid probably 8 hours, maybe even 10, to get through it all. And that's when I plied that yarn, which was super fun. Moving on, I will scream if there's more lawn mowing today. I think it's just a tractor driving by, because I live in the country. I think it's just a tractor driving by, but we'll stop. Okay, I think it's quiet enough. I think. I'm so sorry if you can still hear the tractor noises, but that's just what you get when you live in the countryside. So, works in progress. I have approximately a bajillion new cast-ons. So I'm sure you guys will love that. My boyfriend and I drove up to Maine to see the total solar eclipse. That was on April 8th, so that was 2 weeks ago. I haven't recorded in quite a while, but I think it was like a 6-hour drive to where we ended up staying. And so in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I have 12 hours in the car over the course of a 3-day weekend. So I need to cast on infinity whips just to give myself something to do. And it's a good thing that I cast them on because I have been knitting like crazy. So let's just, what shall I do first? Oh goodness, big decisions. Let's just go with the thing that you've seen. So this is one of my many Mussel Fakers. So I explained this, I feel like I explained this in every single episode of the podcast. This is a improvised version of the Mussel Faker Hat, which is a pattern by Isolde Teague. I don't like the crown shaping on that hat pattern, so I made up my own crown shaping, but it's still going to be a double-ended hat that you fold inside of itself. So, I have one crown done. I'm 1 row away from starting the decreases. So this is my itty bitty baby little eensy weensy tiny ball of yarn. So I weighed this out last night. It's 15 grams, and that's exactly what I need to start the decreases. So I'm gonna finish the row that I'm working on and then start the crown decreases, which is so exciting because this thing has been on the needles since probably February. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. This was a little swatch skein. This is a single ply fingering weight yarn. I used this skein to swatch some new acid dyes that I had purchased back like in January, and then I turned it into, or am turning it into, a Mussel Faker hat, which will probably go to my boyfriend because it's gonna be too big for me. That does, however, bring me to my next work in progress, which is another Mussel Faker hat. This one, sorry, my DPNs are gonna be sticking out everywhere. So this one, here's the ball of yarn. This is another swatch skein. So this was all of my like warm toned and pink acid dyes that I purchased, and the other one was all of the blue and cool tone acid dyes that I purchased. So now I am knitting myself a little Mussel Faker. It's so cute. It's so little. So this one for me, I have all of the crown increases done. This is going to be 160 stitches, and this one is 176, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be about 2 inches smaller, which is going to be perfect because I have a much smaller head than my boyfriend. So here it is. Like I said, all the increases are done, so now it's just knitting around and around to infinity, which is good because this one's ready for decreases, so now I have to start paying attention to this one, but this one's ready to be knit straight. So I have the never-ending vanilla whip. I'm just gonna throw my DPN back in there. So that is the second whip of the day. First new cast on that you've seen. Everything is new from here on out, I believe. Okay. You have seen this yarn before. I believe I showed it. It might have been last episode. It might have been 2 episodes ago. This is from Diana at Painted Fern Fiber Co. She's awesome. I ordered this, this was her spring sock set, which is no longer available for purchase, but she is having a sale right now. She has one-of-a-kinds and mystery skeins and sock sets at a pretty great discount. So if you're interested, another tractor is driving by, but if you're interested in Diana's yarn, I will leave her link in the description. This is going to be a new pattern that I'm releasing, so I am so sorry about the tractor, but let me just show you the yarn really quick. So yellow toe, blue foot, green heel, all Diana's yarn. Both of the mini skeins were part of the sock set. and I deeply apologize about the tractor. This is the second sock that I've knit in this pattern. The first one went to my mom for Christmas, so this pattern has been in the works, or like in the background of my mind, for quite a while now. But this is the first pattern sample, and that all of my tails on all of my socks are sticking out, so I'm sorry. I don't want to show it too close to the camera, but this is the first. It's so cute with that yellow toe and the green heel. It's so cute. That is the first one. First pattern sample of the new pattern. This is the second one, so I just have the toe and then the very, very start of the sock. I am going to be filming a tutorial for the stitch pattern for this sock, and I'm going to be using this sock as the tutorial sock. So I have not worked on this past getting it. I have not worked on this other than getting it past the toe, is what I was trying to say. So first whip with Diana's yarn. I love it so much. I love that sock set. Those are 64 stitch sock. That grammar. That was a 64 stitch sock on a US 0, which is a 2mm needle. Those socks are going to be for me. I usually wear a 56 stitch sock, which you're about to see next, but because it's knit on a smaller needle size, I can kind of get away with wearing a 64 stitch sock because I'm like right on the cusp of fitting into a 64 stitch sock, you feel me? So with slightly smaller gauge, it fits me slightly better. Second sock. This is my own hand-dyed yarn. This is a tester skein of one of my spring collection colorways. So the colorway that it's a tester skein of is called Lavender Grove. I might have a picture to put in. If not, it's on my Etsy. I love this colorway. I cannot stress to you enough how much I love it. But it's this like periwinkle, oh my god, it's this like periwinkle purple with these green like stripey thingies. They're not really stripes, they're splotches. So periwinkle purple with green splotches. This is kind of an oopsie because I had some like dye on a spoon, some like aggressively blue dye on a spoon that left speckles all over this skein. You can see one right there, and there's like more on the back. This is how it looks. I should probably show that to you. So this is Lavender Grove. Just ignore all these blue speckles you see, and that's how Lavender Grove will work up. Back of the sock. Probably should put it a little further away from the camera, but whatever. So this is a 56 stitch sock in the same pattern. That's also going to be for me. Second pattern sample. There are so many tractors. I'm so sorry. I am so deeply sorry about all the tractor noises. So one sock totally done. Second sock, we are just past the toe. Here, you can see the pattern. I don't even care. So it's just some cables, or fake cables. It's really, really fun to do. Backside of the sock, it's so pretty. I love this colorway, and I would knit a full sweater out of this. I am like debating dyeing more just to knit myself a sweater because it's so pretty. It's like so wearable in my opinion, and just like the way that the green and the purple look together, it's just like so organic. I don't know. I love it. So that is my Lavender Grove Testers Skein new sock sample 2. We're approaching the end. We're closing in. Oh, no we're not. Totally forgot about that thing back there. We'll get to that eventually. Let's get the socks out of the way first. So this is another sock for my dad. This is Lavender Grove socks, 56 stitches, US 1, 2.25mm needle. My favorite yarn base. Also my favorite yarn base, US 1, 72 stitches for my dad. So this is a colorway that is not in the shop, but I have more of it to put in the shop. I'm just being so lazy and I haven't listed it yet. But I have this yarn for your viewing and buying pleasure. So this is my colorway that I'm calling As Seen from Space. It's so sick. I know I'm biased because I dyed it, but it's so sick. Look at it. So because I always do my socks toe up with a heel flap and gusset, when you get to a certain point and the gusset increases, the like pooling shifts. So I don't know a good way to show that to you. Maybe on this sock it's a little bit better, but you can see there's like stripies going up the foot, and then it like has a little diamond where the stripies start going the other way. And then on the other side of the foot, does the same little stripy thing, V-shape with green. These look so cool. And then it stripes after the heel, the stripes go back to normal and they stripe up the leg. This is for my dad, so there's ribbing on the side of the leg to make sure it fits his manly calves. Some ribbing at the top. You can see, oh yeah, when it starts the ribbing, the stripes go back the opposite way. That's like literally insane to me. I think it's the coolest thing ever. And yeah, I dyed it and I think it's the coolest thing ever. It's how, ooh, let me show you the heel flap because that's always the coolest thing too. That's how it looks in the heel flap. And this colorway was inspired by the Mussel Faker hat that I showed you, the blue one. So that's how it looks on 72 stitch socks. I think it's really cool. And I usually don't like it when sock yarn does this like spirally thing. I usually don't like that. I don't know why. Kind of loving it. So the first sock is totally done like I showed you. Second sock, I'm on the leg. I did not count my rows. I'm wildly unprepared. Probably about 30 rows done on the leg. So I have about 40 rounds to go and then 20 rounds for the cuff. So extra 60 rounds to knit on these guys. But I think they're so cool. I love them. I love them so much. And the striping obviously changes with your gauge and what size socks you knit. So if you knit a 64 or a 56 stitch or any other variation of sock size, your stripes will not come out the same way because it's a different circumference. Thank you. But I love them. I think they're so cool. So I knit these on the way to Maine. Not all of them, you know. I cast on the first sock the day before we left. So I literally had like that much done when we got in the car to go to Maine. And I knit the entire like foot and heel. I was knitting the heel while the solar eclipse was happening. It was really cool. And then I think I knit most of the leg on the way home. I had obviously multiple other socks to work on. But yeah, I knit most of the leg on the way home. I am parched, excuse me. And then I've been knitting the second sock in like the 2 weeks since. And that's almost done. This is my little ball of yarn. You can see it's very, very similar to the ball of yarn in the Mussel Faker hat. But you can see the difference that a different stitch count has because this guy has like none of that spiraliness. It's also different, but same kind of colors, same like inspiration, same sort of dye style, but again, it just looks cool. I think it just looks cool in socks, and I usually don't like the spirals, but I guess I am more biased than I thought. Okay, last pair of socks I have to show you, and these guys are on DPNs. Who am I? I never knit socks on DPNs. I used to. That's how I learned to knit socks. But since I learned how to do magic loop, I kind of haven't looked back. So these are more socks for my dad. What a shocker. These are a kind of secret new pattern as well. It's not that secret. I'm just designing a pattern for toe-up DK weight socks with a heel flap and gusset, because who doesn't want to knit DK weight socks? These guys are coming out so cool. So cool. I love them so much. The heel flap on a DK weight sock is like insane. It's like literally a pillow. I can't really get my hand in here very well because it's DPNs. But I feel like you can just like tell the squish factor. It's crazy. Here's my little heel turn. So my dad's favorite color is yellow. I am dying, I need more water. So my dad's favorite color is yellow. He loves the combo of yellow and black, and I mean, who doesn't? Because it's like striking and beautiful. So yeah, you can see my little like tiny jog in the front where I have my 2 DPNs, but forget about that. It'll come out when you wear it. Who blocks their socks? Not me. I think that's a waste of time because you're just gonna wash them and wear them again, which blocking only lasts until you wash it. So who blocks their socks? Whatever. You know what, guys? Whatever. You can block your socks if you want to. I think it's a waste of time. But yeah, these are just plain vanilla DK weight socks. Going to go to my dad. Here is my neon ball of yarn. I did dye this myself. Super secret new yarn base that may or may not be coming to the shop once I release the pattern for these socks. There you go. You guys are just getting the drop on all those other folks who don't watch the podcast. Guys getting all the secret information. I almost said that's it for knitting. It's not. You guys have probably been staring at that thing the whole time. I cast on a new sweater. Now forgive me because this is a colorwork sweater, so I have mad balls of yarn attached. This is, if I can find my needles to make sure I'm not dropping stitches. Oh, I totally am. Whoopsie. There we go. So this is the sweater PhD candidate by Hannah Mann of Dear Ingenue. I don't know, I'm not French. Dear Ingenue. I split for sleeves, so I'm trying to find those because I fold them inside my sweater. Here we go. There we go. So again, this looks massive because it is. Because I want this to be like a swancho type of thing, sweater poncho, in case you're new. So I am knitting the size large when I probably should be knitting the size small. My colorwork gauge is also looser than my non-colorwork gauge, than my stockinette gauge. So because my gauge is looser, it's like getting even bigger than it should be. And I'm also knitting the size large, which has a ton of positive ease on me. So it looks very large, and it is very large, and I love it, and it's gonna be so comfy cozy. So, oof, there we go. You can see all my floats in the back. They look kind of poopy right now, but they'll get better, I promise. Like, they're gonna look poopy until I've knit like 5 rows past them, and then they like get to the appropriate tension. This is my second colorwork sweater, I think. Maybe, that sounds right. We're just gonna say that it is, because that's the only one I can think of. I like improvised a colorwork sweater in 2022. So this is my second one. I have knit like smaller colorwork projects like hats and stuff. This is my second colorwork sweater, and I love these colors, dude. It's like so, like, dare I say, goth? I love it. I think it looks really good. I don't know about you. You can disagree with me, but it's this like charcoal gray is my main color. Also, I thought that this was my first ever tubular cast on, because it is a tubular cast on and I love it. This is a free pattern, by the way. You should probably knit it if you like colorwork sweaters. It's really nice. So I thought it was my first ever tubular cast on, But then when I like watched a video to teach myself how to do it, I was like, no, I've done this before. So I don't know when I learned it, because I thought I had never done it. But apparently I've done tubular cast on before, and I thought I hadn't. But I did. So potentially, I'm showing you my tails. I just realized. I'm so sorry. It's so ugly. Don't look at those. But yeah, it has short rows in the back on this like vertical stripy section. I was telling you about my colors. Can you tell that I am caffeinated? So charcoal gray, and then I have like a, you can't really tell with this lighting, but the lightest color is called Aloe. It's like a very light green. And then the darkest color is called Bittersweet, and it's like a chocolate brown. And so it's gray, green, and brown, but kind of from a distance it looks like gray, black, and white. I am staring at myself in the viewfinder. And yeah, I just feel like it kind of looks a little goth, and I kind of love that. So yeah, my hands are in the sleeves. That is the yoke, and then how can I show this to you without dropping my stitches everywhere? After you split for sleeves, there is more color work. So you have these little like checkerboard guys down here, the brown and the gray. I'm so sorry, this is like the worst show and tell. But yeah, you have the little checkerboard guys, and then this is what looks a little funky right now, but like in 5 rows it'll be perfect. You have these little green crosses, and then there's gonna be like diamond shaped things that I'm working on right now. And yeah, so it looks a little funk right now. Like you can see all my floats that I'm working on. They look disastrous, but I promise they get better. Like look at the floats up here. They look nice, right? Yeah, and they used to look like the floats I'm working on. But yeah, very happy with this. Can't wait to be done with the color work so that I can just knit in stockinette for forever. But then there's going to be more color work on the sleeves, which is actually kind of fun. I like that idea. So finished one sweater, instantly cast on the other one. And actually I cast this on, I was a little naughty. I cast it on before I had even finished the Cloudwatching sweater. Sorry I'm looking down. I am like determined to make sure I don't drop stitches, but I can't find my needle tips, which is a little concerning. I'm dropping stitches, guys. Whoopsie. I think we're good. I need to be more mindful of that because I just dropped like 20 stitches off the needle while I was twirling it around like a pizza trying to show you guys. So sorry about that. So, sweater cast on. That's it for knitting. Let's move on to spinning. Because guess who the spinning bug bit? Me! And they bit me hard. Okay, so I can't remember if I told you about this or not, but my plan for this 2-ply that I just finished is to use it in a shawl with another braid of Merino from Paradise Fibers in the colorway Emerald Bay. Gonna spin that, make that a 2-ply, approximately try and match it to that purple one, use them both in a shawl together. They'll be so beautiful. Here's Emerald Bay. Here, I think it's a little bit better this way. So this is just a very similar like bluey green. So the first one I showed you, Mystic Forest, was like a bluey purple. This one's a bluey green. I think they're gonna look so beautiful together, like totally mermaid in heaven. Like match made in heaven, mermaid in heaven, okay. I have just started it and I got sick of it because I got sick of spinning merino. I don't know if any of you spinners out there know what I mean. I hate spinning merino. I think it's so boring. I really do. I hate it. So I started working on this spin, which like I need to salute it because it has been my longest ever whip. Like, I need to start like playing taps right now because it's the end of an era. So I taught myself how to spin back in 2018. I bought myself these 2 drop spindles that I just showed you. Bought myself these drop spindles and like a learn to spin fiber kit on Etsy for my birthday 6 years ago. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna like test it out. The pack was like 20 bucks for both spindles and the fiber. Can't go wrong. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll just like test it out because I've always wanted to learn how to spin, but let me like make sure that I actually enjoy it before I go all in. So I spun exactly 5 ounces of fiber and I was like, okay, I'm ready for my sweater spin, my first ever sweater spin. So I bought a pound, 16 ounces of Corriedale, and I was like, I'm going to dye it in this like red, orange, yellow gradient, and I'm gonna spin it, and it's gonna be a sweater. Which is a beautiful idea, and it would have worked out so much better if it wasn't my literal second spinning project. So I bought the fiber, I dyed the fiber, it came out beautiful. I started spinning the fiber and like I started with the red, and so the red is like, all of it is single ply, by the way. The red is like this chunky weight, like thick and thin. I mean, it's a choice for sure. And then as we move into orange, I start like learning more and getting better, and my yarn's getting thinner, and it's like, you know, a worsted weight. Start moving into the blend between orange and yellow, and I like really hit my stride here at this like intersection between orange and yellow. So my singles become like a sport to fingering weight and like much more consistent. There's no like slubby bits. It like looks like actual yarn. And then I moved to California, and so I didn't spin at all when I was in California because I didn't bring my spinning stuff with me. Moved back to Rhode Island 2 years later, looked at the 7 skeins of yarn that I had created up until this point, and I was like, I will never knit that into a sweater. I'll probably knit it into something else. It's just not going to become a sweater. And so I had this like maybe 3 ounces, maybe, I think, yeah, it's close to 3 ounces. I had like 3 ounces left, and it was like all the yellowy bits. It was like the transition right where I went from orange and started doing yellow. And I was like, I'm not gonna spin that with the intention of using it in this forgotten sweater project, so I just didn't spin it. So I moved back to Rhode Island almost exactly a year ago, and since then I've just like had this yellow Corriedale fiber in my closet because I'm like, I'm never gonna spin that, and it's just like a reminder of my naivete. So I got really sick of spinning Merino, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna spin that Corriedale. I'm gonna do it. And so I did it. And so now I have this like, you can't even see because the best part is like underneath. Where it was like blending from orange to yellow, I like left a lot of white behind, and so when I was spinning it, the orange and the white like blended together, and it made like the most stunning like peachy pink. And I was like, oh my god, like so good. You can't even see it because it's, you know, part of the first part of the fiber that I spun, so it's on like the inside of this cup, but look at it. I'm like so excited. I'm shaking about this. I'm like, okay, let me cover my face so my camera tries to focus. And it's doing something with the lighting that I couldn't tell you. This thing, I'm so excited. I'm gonna ply it with itself. So the yellow on the outside is gonna start being plied with like the orange on the inside. I have a vision for it, and I think it's gonna come out so cool. And yeah, like I said, it's about 3 ounces. I'm really hoping I get close to like 150 yards. I'd be really happy with that because I want to make a hat with this, I think. I think it'll be really pretty. Like maybe a cowl. A cowl could be nice. But I'm thinking hat. I'm thinking I can wear it hiking. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm really excited for it. So this has been resting on the bobbin, And then I'm gonna attempt to hand wind a center pull ball because I don't have a ball winder. I'm gonna attempt to hand wind a center pull ball so that I can ply it with itself because I think it's gonna be really, really cool. So super excited about this. Hopefully I'll have a finished yarn to show you next podcast. This one, Emerald Bay, forget about it. I'm gonna work on it, but I'm so excited for that yellow Corriedale. We're gonna move on to a rare segment of the podcast, which is acquisitions. I know I had one like literally last episode, but it is rare, I promise you. This time though, I have some fiber acquisitions. So I got 2 braids of fiber from Stargazer Fiber Arts on Etsy. I love them. I just love them so much. So this is the first braid that caught my eye. It is the, like, it's got, I wish I could talk. This is the first braid that caught my eye. It has like pink and purple and reddish orange, some blue in there. Like, I don't know, it just caught my eye and I was like, I really want to spin that. Even though I'm not like a super pinky person, I was like, yes, I want to spin that. This is also really exciting for me because this is Cheviot, which is like, in my opinion, probably the most common sheep breed that I see around me in Rhode Island. I feel like every farm that I know has Cheviot sheep because I'm pretty sure they raise them for meat, and like wool is kind of like a byproduct almost, because I'm pretty sure they raise Cheviots for meat. But this is Cheviot wool, which I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. You're just getting all my brainwaves today. I would love to work with farms around me in Rhode Island and give you guys, like, source the fiber for you guys to have Rhode Island fiber to work with. A lot of it is Cheviot though, so I'm like, I should probably spin with some Cheviot before I commit to buying fleeces, because what if I don't like it? This is a sliver preparation, which correct me if I'm wrong, you spinning friends, it's like, it's carded and not combed, and then they make roving with the carded fiber, when usually, like, combed top is aligned with combs and then dizzed into a long combed top preparation, which is what, like, Paradise Fibers, that's what they sell there. That's like their put up of fiber. This is a carded sliver, which is similar, but it's like dizzed off the carder. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. Anyways, this is going to be like a woolen spin in my head. I've only spun a little bit of a trial run of a woolen spin. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I've only spun a little bit woolen. I usually do, like, I spin on a drop spindle. I feel like you kind of have to do short forward. I feel like you have to. Again, spinning friends, I'd love to be wrong. I just don't see how you could do long draw on a drop spindle. Someone teach me, please. So, looking forward to doing a semi woolen spun, because it's a woolen prep, but I'll probably be spinning it short forward. So semi woolen. Anyways, planning to use this for socks because it is Cheviot, so it's not super soft, but it is very sturdy. Think geese, okay. Thinking of using it for socks. I also bought a 4-ounce braid of brown merino. Am I cuckoo crazy, or is like brown merino super rare? Because I thought merinos were like specifically bred, they like bred the colors out and they like want the white fiber historically. So I feel like brown merino is kind of like a little oddball. anyways, got some brown merino. And in my buying frenzy, I was like, oh, these two like plied together would be incredible. But now that I'm seeing them together, this is a lot, I don't know, they might go together. Let me know what you think. I think that this is like too warm to go with this brown. So I have some like bare undyed roving or combed top that I could like dye up and ply with this. So it would almost be like a little combo spin of 1 ply Cheviot and 1 ply. I have Falkland and I have Merino undyed, but I could also get Corriedale because I would want something a little bit more sturdy for socks. Cheviot is sturdy, right? Cheviot's pretty sturdy. So those are my plans. So no, you won't see it. You might see it. You might see this next time on a spindle. Maybe. But I feel like if I start spinning that Cheviot, especially if I like it, I will not get any of this done. Which is a goal that I have. I want to get this done. Even though I just started it. I want to get it done. So, that's kind of it. If you're curious about boyfriend knitting, I don't have it with me. He started, so proud of him. He started a hat, a like safety orange hat that because it's turkey season here. So you gotta wear some vibrancy when you go out into the woods, which completely surrounds us. He started a safety orange hat. It's a 2x2 ribbed hat. He has, my phone's going off. He has about 6 inches done on it, and it's just, you know, a ribbed tube. It's up at his house currently, so I don't have it with me, but he is doing so well. I taught him how to knit in the round. He didn't twist it. He's so good. It's coming along beautifully. His tension on his ribbing is like, it's so good. And maybe next time it'll be a finished object that I can show you. He has not started on the shawl yet. I did dye him up some special yarn. He hasn't started it, but that might be coming very soon as well. So that is it. That's it. I do want to let you know, if you have made it this far, it's been like an hour. It's probably been more than an hour if I'm being honest with myself. I do want to let you know that all of the yarn in my Etsy store is 25% off until Mother's Day, which in the United States is May 12th. So all of it, every single skein, 25% off. If you saw any of my yarns for my spring collection and you're like, I really like that, it's a little out of my budget, but I really like that, it's 25% off. You get free shipping on orders over $35. I highly encourage you to buy 2 skeins because then you get free shipping. I just wanted to let you know that's it. That's really it. So thank you everyone so much for watching, especially this episode because this is a long one. Thank you for putting up with my boundless energy. Thank you for sitting with me for this long time. I really appreciate every single one of you, and until I see you again, which let's keep our fingers crossed that it's soon, until I see you again, happy making.